I'm married, Sam, and I have to tell you because we need to end this. My husband is showing signs of suspicion, and although I enjoy your company immensely, I cannot jeopardize my marriage. But you never wear a wedding ring. We've been together for almost 2 months, and now you're dumping this on me. I'm so sorry, Sam. I know I never said whether I was married or not. And honestly, if a girl wants to have some fun, she's not going to wear her diamond engagement ring. I was more than a little confused as I sat on the edge of my bed at the Hilton Hotel in downtown Sacramento, California. I met Joe, short for Yosie, 2 months ago in a hotel bar. My name is Sam Mefford, and I work for our family grocery business in Spokane, Washington. This time of year, I travel through several areas of the Central California region, haggling over the prices of fruits and vegetables. For the past 2 months, I've been in Sacramento once every 10 days. On my first trip, I met Joe, and we hit it off immediately. She told me that she works as a sales representative for a large pharmaceutical company in Denver. California was part of its territory. Joe was 32 to my 29, and she was stunningly beautiful. About 5'6" with long legs, an amazing ass, and bright blue sparkling eyes. I immediately became intoxicated by her. I should step back for a minute and mention a couple of important details about myself. First of all, I'm lonely. I haven't met the one yet, but I'm seriously looking. I don't jump quickly into bed with any woman. Well, Joe, of course, I made an exception this time. We ended up in bed 2 hours after our meeting. I don't want cheap sex. I want a life with a good woman. So physical attraction always comes after meeting someone. Again, Joe was an exception, but there just seemed to be something special about her. Secondly, I never sleep with married women. Period. End of story. I have nothing but vitriol for anyone who breaks their wedding vows and promises. You want to sleep with just anyone, I don't mind. Stay single. But as soon as you say, I leave everyone else, you take an oath of allegiance. Besides hating cheaters, I have no intention of becoming the target of an angry husband. I plan to live a long life and die with my children and grandchildren gathered at my bedside, not in some dark alley beaten to death by a man who won't stand for some piece of crap taking someone else's. This is my code, and I will never, ever deviate from it. A lot of married women hit on me. I'm no George Clooney or Brad Pitt, but I'm in good shape and have a sharp mind and quick wit. Also, I am genuinely interested in people, so I am a good listener. All women love a good listener. It takes me about 2 seconds to notice a ring on a potential cheating wife. I try to be polite, but I'm always firm. Something like, I'm flattered, but I don't date or have sex with married women. Obviously, this gets me a death glare or even an attempt to slap me in the face, as if I cared. It's either better than being hit in the back of the head with a baseball bat or realizing that you're just another selfish scoundrel among many. I have enough shortcomings without this. So, for the 6th time in 2 months, I find myself in a hotel room with the woman I thought I might fall in love with. Since we were both in town on business, it was easy for us to share a room and enjoy each other's company. However, we also visited Napa, took a historic river cruise, and biked in the nearby mountains. The sex was amazing, but I thought it was the budding relationship that made our fun so incredible. Now I think, wow. Sorry, say it again. Are you married? Yes, Sam. I apologize for taking this out on you. I really like you and I enjoy spending time together, but I have a life with my husband and 2 small children. I can't leave them or harm my family in any way. Do you have children? 2 beautiful boys, Michael and Josh. Would you like to see their photographs? They are adorable. Hell no. I don't want to see their pictures. What the hell, Joe? How could you do this to me? How could you set me up like that? I had no idea you were married. If you had told me when we first met, I might have bought you a drink, but then politely gone on my way. I don't sleep with married women. I didn't tell you, Sam, because I didn't want to do it. You were beautiful and intrigued me. I wanted to get to know you better. I love my husband, but I needed a little spice in my life. I would continue dating you if I was sure Tom would never find out. You are an amazing guy and a great lover. I must have looked like a deer in headlights, a completely dumbfounded fool, or maybe both. I heard gurgling sounds coming from my throat, but I could not say a word. Did I just enter the fucking Twilight Zone? Joe was getting worse every minute. Tom and I met in high school and were in love from the very beginning. We fell deeply in love and have been together ever since. He is a good man, perhaps the best person I know, but I find myself curious about other people outside of my marriage. What is it like to have an affair? Would another man have made me love Tom more? What if it was bigger or better? Could my marriage still thrive? I had to test the waters and explore everything myself. I'm sure you understand. She continued talking for another minute or so, but all I heard was blah, 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 blah. Finally, I began to come to my senses and cut her off. Joe, shut up for a minute, please. Okay, Sam, you don't have to snap at me. I know it's a surprise, but I'm sure you understand that we probably need to stop all this after this weekend. We plan to stay a couple more days and visit Sonoma since it was early October, and there were a lot of grapes on the vines. Joe sat in the chair opposite me in our room. She stood up to join me on the bed. Come on, baby, let's enjoy the time we have, she purred. Stop it, Joe. Sit back down in your chair. I need to ask you some questions, and you need to be honest with me. Do you understand? Yes, of course. I'm always honest with you. Well, except for the part that concerns marriage. She said it casually, as if she were discussing the possibility of rain in tomorrow's forecast. Jesus, this bitch is delusional, I thought to myself. Your real name is Joe? Of course. What nonsense. Are you a representative of a pharmaceutical company from Denver? Well, no, not really. I just made it up. Let me look at your driver's license. What? Your driver's license. Take it out of your purse and show it to me. She did so, and another surprise hit me right between the eyes. Josie Phelps, 1012 Swanston Drive, Sacramento, California. I muttered, in a state of shock. I gave her back her license when she started to look anxious, like a bad card player, bluffing for the pot in Texas Hold'em. See, I told you so, she said, trying to smile. I am truly the same Joe you met a couple of months ago, with one or two exceptions. Now why don't we put this awkward moment behind us and head to Sonoma? I can't wait to tour Montelena Castle. One or two exceptions. You are crazy? You are married and have 2 children. These are not exceptions. These are gaping holes that a truck could drive through. How can you be such a liar and look at yourself in the mirror? Don't lecture me, Sam. We had fun, and that's all we need to do. I never begged you to sleep with me. As far as I remember, you were full of enthusiasm. I was enthusiastic because I thought you were single and that you were someone I could get to know better, with whom I could perhaps build a relationship. If you had just put on your rings, I would never have jumped into bed with you and wasted my time on this facade of a relationship. I'm sorry you feel that way about it, Sam. Let me ask a question, Mrs. Phelps. What would Tom Phelps do if he knew that right now you are here in this room with me and we have been having a sexual relationship for the past 2 months? For the first time, she began to look seriously worried. I don't know, but I'm sure it wouldn't be good. Tom is a loyal guy and does not tolerate deception or lies. I think he would be very unhappy with both of us. But don't you see, Sam? That's why we need to enjoy our weekend together before we go our separate ways. What is Tom doing this weekend, Joe? Playing at home with the children, thinking that his loving wife is out of town for work? The kids are with my parents, and Tom is at home with a long list of yard work he plans to do in my absence. And yes, he thinks I'm on a work assignment. But not in connection with pharmaceuticals? No, I represent the interests of several large orange producers in the valley. Okay, enough about that. Joe, let me explain something to you. I never, ever have sex with married women. I hate cheating and cheaters, and I have no intention of incurring the wrath of some deceived husband. If I were married and my wife did this to me, I would be furious. You not only endangered your marriage and family, but me too. How could you be such a fool? As tears began to form in her eyes, a plan began to form in my mind. I took a deep breath and seemed to calm down. Maybe you're right, Joe. I can't believe you did this, but maybe we should just throw caution to the wind and enjoy our last weekend together. Hope shone in her eyes. It was clear she thought she was dodging a bullet. Oh, Sam, this makes me so happy. You're such a good guy. I know the right woman will come and take you soon. But for the weekend, you're all mine. I know I was being stupid, but let's put this behind us and enjoy the 2 days we have. Give me a minute to clean myself up and I'll be ready to go. While Joe was in the bathroom, I entered her home address into the Google Map app and muted her phone. When we left the hotel, I headed west on Highway 80, but stopped briefly at the local Dick's Sporting Goods store. "I'll just be a minute. Sit still," I said, not giving her a chance to follow me. When I returned, I placed my small shopping bag on the floor behind the driver's seat and pulled out of the parking lot. However, now I was winding my way from downtown to the Land Park neighborhood of Sacramento. She didn't suspect anything for a few minutes, but soon began to get nervous. "Where are we going, Sam? This is not Highway 80. I have to stop and see one guy I didn't meet this week, Joe. We'll only spend about 10 minutes. The drive was only about 3 miles, and by the time we were a few blocks from her house, she began to understand. "No, Sam, you can't do that. Stop the car, turn around, please. I beg you, don't do this to Tom and my boys. You can't be so cruel." By this time, she was already frantic, trying to grab me or grab the steering wheel. I pushed her away and reached into the back seat, taking my purchase out of my bag. I pointed the gun at her. "Joe, shut the fuck up and calm the fuck down," I said in a controlled, threatening voice. "You screwed up because of your marriage and family, not because of me. I told you I would never fuck a married woman, and I'm not going to start now. I have no idea what your husband will do, but I'm not going to be looking over my shoulder for the rest of my life wondering when he'll show up and crush my skull. You made your bed, you lying bitch. Now you can sleep in it." She was crying hysterically when we arrived at her house. Working in the front yard was a tall, handsome guy whose name I assumed was Tom. Joe tried to crawl under the car seat. When I left, he turned and walked towards me. I held the gun low to my side, trying to keep it out of sight of any neighbors who might be nearby. "May I help you?" He stopped when he saw the gun in my right hand. "What the—" "Listen, I know you're Tom Phelps, Joe Phelps' husband. If you look over my shoulder, you'll see her in the front seat of my car. Now don't do anything rash. I didn't hurt her and I don't intend to. I don't want anyone to get hurt, but I really need you to listen to my story for about 5 minutes, and then you both will never see me again. Please don't do anything stupid, you can trust me." He must have noticed something in my behavior that allowed him to remain calm and believe what I just said. There was rage in his eyes, but he kept it under control. "Thank you. I promise it will only take a few minutes. Joe, get out of the car and let's go into the house with me and Tom." Looking like a woman condemned to death, Joe reluctantly climbed out of the car and walked towards us. I took a step back, allowing Tom to walk up to his wife and put his arm around her, helping her into the house. When we walked in, I asked it if we could go into their kitchen so they could sit down. I stood pointing the gun at both of them. "Tom, my name is Sam, and about 2 months ago I met Joe in the bar of the Hilton Hotel in the city center. She told me she was a representative for a pharmaceutical company in Denver. Joe didn't wear a wedding ring." At these words, Tom's face began to harden and sweat appeared on his forehead, but he did not interrupt. "Joe is a nice woman with a very expansive character, so I struck up a conversation. It was an amazing 2 hours with someone I thought was lonely. I travel a lot for work and have never been married. I'd love to meet someone and settle down, so as you can imagine, a single woman with Joe's looks and personality caught my eye. 2 hours later, we found ourselves in bed, together for the whole night. After that, we spent time together for the next 2 days, while I was in town. Perhaps I should have been suspicious of how perfectly our schedules aligned, but I was a little taken aback by this charming lady. For the last 2 months, I saw her every time I came to the city, 6 times on different occasions. We were physically close, but also enjoyed sightseeing and other activities throughout the region. I thought I might be falling in love with a beautiful single woman with whom I could have a long-term relationship. By this time, Tom was staring at Joe, but still listening to me. "Mr. Phelps, I have never knowingly slept with a married woman, and I will never do so. The reason I am here with you today is this. About an hour ago, Joe revealed her lie to me. She told me that she was married and had 2 sons. Joe said it was our last weekend together because she was afraid you might be suspicious of her and she didn't want to put her family in danger. Joe put her head in her hands and sobbed quietly. Joe, look at me. She didn't look up. I cocked the pistol. It made an ominous sound. Joe, look at me now. She looked up. Is everything I just told your husband true? She nodded. Say it. Yes, Sam. Everything you said is true. Tom fought back tears of sadness and rage at the same time. My time was coming to an end. Mr. Phelps, I'm going to leave in a minute, but before I do, I want you to know how deeply I regret all of this. I was an unknowing part of something terrible. If I were married and my wife did this to me, I'm not sure how I would react, but it wouldn't be kind or understanding. Be that as it may, I need to know if everything is fine with you. I don't want to be looking over my shoulder for the rest of my life. I want to find someone and settle down so I can start a family, despite your wife's betrayal. However, I can't do this if I know that at some point you might start hunting me. Hell, I wish I had never met her, but there is no way I would help anyone get away with such cowardly betrayal and blatant disrespect. I hope that my coming here today has shown my character. Can I trust you that you are not a danger to me in this situation? Tom Phelps gritted his teeth and turned away from his heartless, self-absorbed wife to look me in the eye. We are fine. Okay, I'll go. As I turned to leave, Joe looked up. Sam, would you really shoot me or Tom if he reacted in rage? I shrugged and let out a sad laugh. Well, Joe, that wouldn't be easy, considering it's just a shotgun and I didn't buy any pellets. As I opened the front door to go out, I heard Joe say, Tom, baby, where are you going? We need to talk. Upstairs. Pack your things, traitor. Are you going? Please like and subscribe to the channel and you will never be cheated on.